Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own DIY makeup brush box. My DIY skills are really limited and I didn't struggle, so I'm sure you'll find it no problem whatsoever. I wanted a box that was a little bit larger, so I made my own completely from scratch. And if you want a larger box or just like the design, I hope this tutorial helps you. Right, so let's get going.
Okay, so to make this makeup box, you're going to want to get 2 foam A3 boards, a cutting tray, some cutting knives, a glue gun and a pencil. We'll talk about decorations later. I also found a box around the size I wanted to use as a template, but you can just measure the sides out with a ruler. So either draw around all the sides of your template box or measure out the length you want with your ruler onto your foam boards. You're going to need a bottom, a front and a back and 2 sides. Take your time with this because you don't want your sides to be wonky when you end up cutting them out. Next we're going to use a hobby craft knife to cut along the marks we've just made. Make sure you find a tray or a surface that you don't mind getting scratched because the knife is going to go all the way through the board onto that surface. You're going to have to push your knife quite hard at this stage and make sure you take your time because if you cut off too much you're either going to have to make a smaller box or start again. My camera cut out during this part, but all I did was cut along all the sides and then remove them from the foam board. Now here are my pieces all cut out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just draw a line along the bottom of each side with my glue gun and then secure it to the base. You might have to hold it on there for a few seconds, but it will stick quite quickly. I also added some glue along the joins between each side to hold it together a little bit more securely. My box did have some gaps along the joins, but it didn't matter to me because of the way I'm going to decorate it. If it does matter to you, just spend a little bit longer cutting it straight. Next I'm going to show you how I decorated my box. I chose to decorate my box with a wood effect, so I started by covering the whole thing in a light layer of brown paint. I mixed 3 different colours to add some shading. You can decorate your box however you like. You can paint it a different colour, you can cover it in material, it is entirely up to you. Because of the effect I wanted, I used a large paintbrush and I painted it on quite loosely, not worrying too much about the pattern, but it's entirely up to you how you want your box to look. I did go over afterwards with a smaller paintbrush and paint in between the sides and along the top just so there wasn't any white showing. While I was waiting for it to dry, I went out into the garden and collected some twigs. I held the twigs next to my box and marked how high I wanted them to be with a Sharpie. I wanted them to be a little bit taller than my box and varying in height slightly, just to add to the effect. When I was happy with the height, I just cut the twigs down with a pair of secateurs, but you could probably use just a pair of big scissors if the twigs aren't too thick. Please be careful when you're cutting them, and if you're not confident, get somebody to help you. This process did take me quite a while because I needed enough sticks to cover the whole outside, but just be patient, it's worth it. Once I'd finished cutting all my sticks, I was ready to start applying them. I chose my 4 thickest sticks to apply to the 4 corners of the box. I held them in place first just to see what angle would work best, and then used my glue gun to stick them on. I then just began to stick the rest of my sticks around the edge, checking what order I wanted to put them in so that they were varying in heights, but it's entirely up to you how you want to stick yours. This does take quite a long time, but I really like the effect it made, so I thought it was worth it. Once I'd finished, I cut some smaller sticks and just went around the edge and filled in some gaps I wasn't happy with. Next I painted the inside of my box. I chose to paint mine a blue because it matched the colour of my room, but it's entirely up to you what colour you want to paint yours. You could also line it with material if you wanted to do it differently. After a second layer of paint, I covered the inside of my box with Mod Podge just to seal in all the paint. I still wasn't entirely happy with some of the gaps on the outside of my box, so I just went over with some smaller sticks and filled them in. So I just took my old makeup brush pots that I wasn't happy with anymore and started to transfer them over into my new box. You can see here that I've used some water beads, but I would suggest not doing that because quite quickly they did start to make the inside of my box quite damp. I've replaced them with just some normal craft beads. So here's the finished product and I'm really happy with it. I even have a separate pot to keep all my nail files in.
I hope you enjoyed that tutorial and found it useful. If you did, I might make some more in the future. If not, I promise I'll stay away. Thanks for watching!